Okay, back to Like a Slow Burning Fire. Today I'll be doing chapter 20. Chapter 20 kicks off beginning of part 6. Part 6 is the last month of the story, August 1988. And chapter 20 takes place the Ottawa Civic Center. I don't work till noon today, so I spend the morning calling universities across the country, asking if they have teaching programs, and if so, any chance I could apply last minute for September, even though it's August, which means school starts soon, so good luck with that. Dunk just told me about the magic of 555-1212, as in, if you know an area code, to get information, you punch in 1, then the area code, then 555-1212, and Bob's your uncle. I get out the phone book and turn to the page with the map of Canada and the area codes. I start with BC, 1-604-555-1212. The operator answers, and I ask if she can give me the numbers to the universities in BC, and she says, all of them? 3 hours later, I've called universities from BC to Nova Scotia and asked if they had teaching programs, and most said no, or it was too late for September, try next year. And I said, okay, thanks, and all I could think was next year, fuck. I'm driving to work, and despite my shitty morning, I'm revved up and cranking Neil Young on the tape deck because Hopper and I are off to the Civic Center tonight for Neil and Crazy Horse. The day's busy, so it flies by, then it's home for a shower, pick up Hopper, and off to Neil. We park at Billings Bridge and walk down Bank Street to the arena. We're booting it because we have GA tickets on the floor and we want to get close to the stage. We're walking on the bridge over the canal when we see the magical sight of the arena with a mob of people waiting to get into GA so we run the rest of the way. We get to the mob and join some sort of line. It's hot and humid, just the way we like it for a concert, and we're crammed with all these people and we can already feel the steam. 2 old guys beside us are smoking a joint, and a sweet smell of pots in the air, and I like it because it's a smell of concerts. A girl beside me pulls a wineskin out from under her jean jacket and tilts her head back and sprays something red into her mouth. She finishes, wipes her mouth with the back of her hand, and catches my eye. Sangria, she says and smiles. Want some? I say, sure, thanks. She hands me her wineskin, and I spray it all over my face, and some goes in my mouth, and it feels good. I say thanks and hand her the wineskin, and she says, no problemo. What about your friend? Hopper says, yeah, thanks, and manages to get all in his mouth because he's smooth like air. A few minutes later, we all shuffle forward. Then this lady takes my ticket, rips it in half, and gives the other half to me. I tuck my ticket stub deep in the left front pocket of my 501s because I've saved every stub since the Beach Boys in grade 8. Hopper and I boot it to the floor and score a spot close to the stage right behind a stack of speakers so we can see Neil up close and feel the bass in our chests and the soles of our feet. The arena starts filling up. Beach balls bounce around the crowd, and the smell of pot is thick, which means you don't have to smoke a joint to get high, which is a bonus. A group of people near us start singing Powderfinger, and we all sing along. We get talking to the people around us, and it's nice because they're hippie-ish, laid back, and funny. We're a long way from Woodstock in the 60s, but what's left of that vibe is in the air tonight. Hopper and I are chatting with these random strangers about Neil and Dylan and Patti Smith and where are you from, and no, never seen The Dead, but Lou Reed's coming soon. And have you heard of Steve Earle, this new sort of country dude? We've got a little circle of guys yapping away, music geeks like us, and we're happy because we're with our own kind. And then some girls join our little circle, and it's nice because they're girls, which means possibilities. Hopper's wearing his Stones Hot Rocks t-shirt, and one of the girls asks him if he's a big fan, and Hopper says the Exile era and the Graham Parsons stuff. The girl has long blonde hair and perfectly smooth skin, and she's wearing a jean jacket over a purple dress, and she's rock and roll beautiful. Her friend has her back to us, talking to someone else, and then she turns around, and it's the wineskin girl. I smile and say, hey, and she smiles back. The wineskin girl has red hair and sweet freckles, and she's wearing a jean jacket over a creamy linen sundress, and she looks comfortable in her skin and her dress. I ask her if this is her first Neil show, and she says, yeah, and tells me that she and her friend Bobo drove all the way from upstate New York for the concert. She points at this guy who's talking to someone and says, that's Bobo, as in Bob O'Reilly, Bobo, And I say, like the Who song? And she says, yeah. And then she points at the girl in the jean jacket and the purple dress and says, that's Billy. And I'm Rosie, like the song. I say, yeah, Jackson Brown. I love that song. I tell her my name and point to Hopper and say, that lanky guy over there is my best buddy, Hopper. Rosie tells me that she lived in Ottawa till she was 15, which is how she knows Billy. But then her draft dodging dad wanted to go back home, so they moved to the States. I ask her if her dad's really a draft dodger, and she says, yeah, but he voted for Reagan, so there's that. Rosie and I get talking about concerts, and it turns out we were at the same Kinks show in Montreal a few years back. I asked her if she ever saw a show by some unknown that blew her away, and she says, Carolyn Mass on the Hold On tour. And I say, no way. I saw her at Carleton on that tour, and she was amazing. She owned the stage. Great band, awesome sax man. Then she tells me there's this new band called the Tragically Hip that she just saw at a bar in Alexandria Bay, and they rocked it. And they must have got their name from this Carolyn Mass song, He's So Cool. And isn't that cool? I'm thinking, holy shit, this girl loves Carolyn Mass, and so do I, and who the hell's heard of her? Nobody. And then she says she remembers all this stuff because she saves her ticket stubs. And I say, no way, me too. And I'm turning into that excitable boy again. Then she tells me that her favorite Neil Young song is Thrasher. And I say, that's my favorite too. And I'm not lying. It's my all-time favorite Neil tune. She says she loves the line about the diamonds and the dew. And right then, I know this is the kind of girl I want to be with forever. And I'm guessing it won't be her, and that's okay, but I want it to be someone like her. And then the lights go down, the crowd roars, the lighters spark up, and everyone pushes toward the stage, and my girl in the summer dress is swept away. She's going, almost gone. And then I see this little hand reach out to me, and I reach, and I've got her hand, and somehow I'm pushed and pulled toward her. And then everybody settles, and I'm standing behind her. Neil and the band kick into Like a Hurricane, and Rosie reaches back and grabs my hand and guides my right arm so it's around her waist. She holds my hand with her fingers locked in mine, and she moves her hips back and forth, which makes me move with her, and it's great. We spend the rest of the concert singing along with Neil, and I love how she knows all the words. The singing along part was great because we were so close to the stage and this big bank of speakers that you couldn't hear yourself singing even though you were screaming the words. Hopper's over to my right, rocking it with Billy, and I don't know who else. And during Cinnamon Girl, I catch his eye. He looks right at me, puts his fist in the air, opens his mouth wide, and laughs. And all I can think is how nice it is right here, right now, with this perfect girl as this perfect moment flickers, with nothing from yesterday nagging at me and nothing from tomorrow stressing me out. For the rest of the night in that hot, sticky arena, I stand with my arms around a girl I just met who has sweet red hair and awesome freckles, and we listen to every note that Neil Young and Crazy Horse play, and we soak it all up. And then it's encore time, and they rock a couple more songs, and Neil and his crew raise their fists in the air, and the lights come up, and a night I hoped would never end is almost over. I ask Rosie, what now? And she says Bobo is going to run and get the car because they parked miles away. Then they're driving back home to some town in upstate New York. Near Syracuse. She says he's going to pick her up at the restaurant across from the arena. Want to come wait with me? She says. And I say, sure. And we make our way out of the steamy arena into the cool, sticky air and head across the street to the Villa Deli. We're sitting on the curb in the parking lot talking about Neil and the tunes he played and a few he didn't, and how it was awesome we got to see Neil with Crazy Horse because that's the way he's supposed to be seen. And then we get talking about who goes to school where, and Rosie says to me, what about you? I tell her about Carleton and the shitty teaching situation, and she says, wow, and looks over at Billy and says, that's so cool, because Billy just finished her teaching degree. I look at Billy and say, where? And she says, Newfoundland. Newfoundland? I say, they have a university? And she says, yeah, Memorial University of Newfoundland, MUN. And right then I think, God damn, I gave up at fucking Nova Scotia. I asked Billy which program she did, and she says high school, history and French. I say, hey, I know we just met, but I'm trying to get into teacher's college somewhere. Any chance I could get your number and give you a call for some info, like who to call and how to apply and all that? Absolutely, she says. She unsnaps this brown leather purse and gets a pen and writes her number on the back of a subway card. It only has one stamp on it, so it doesn't matter, she says. Rosie says, this is so cool, cosmic, like fate. And as I stuff that subway card in my pocket next to my ticket stub, I'm hoping she's right. Right then, Bobo pulls into the parking lot and honks the horn, and Rosie says, gotta roll. She gets up off the curb, hugs Billy, kisses her on both cheeks, and says, I'm going to miss you so much. I love you. And then Rosie walks over to me and puts her arms around my neck. It was so nice seeing Neil Young with you, she says. So nice. You're very sweet. I hope we can do it again sometime. I really do. She stands on her toes, pulls me in close, and kisses me on one cheek and then the other. I squeeze her tight and look into her eyes and her freckles and say, yeah, it was great. You're beautiful. I'm so happy I met you. And then I let her go. She walks away, turns, blows me a kiss, gets into the car, and just like that, a boy named Bobo drives off to upstate New York with a girl who might be the sweetest song I've ever heard. And that's the end of chapter 20.